AKA AKA Vinny the Shoe, AKA Sammy the Salami, and don't forget that time you were a wrestler for a little bit and went by the Italian lover from No Mother. I'm not as like what can I say? It's one of those I normally get them when they're okay. The last console I got that was Wave One was my Xbox One that I'm going to be playing as soon as Arkham City installs. Oh yeah, just don't ask for anything to play anything after Arkham Knight. Even Arkham Knight's kind of garbage. Mm, it'll be worth it. Mm, nope. It's almost set them ready to play. So ready to ready to play a bit like the halfway. I'm just looking at it like, come on, 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 come on. I don't want to give you a second. I swear. Hurry up to slow down, just like when my dad was in the military. I swear. Dealing with military doctors. That's what you remind me of. Military doctors. Hurry up and slow down. Be there half your day.
All right, so it looks like okay. So he said he could hear you, but unfortunately wasn't able to hear me. So I had to turn on. Okay, hey guys. Again, looks like my audio wasn't being captured correctly. So hopefully now you can hear me. So it might have been a little odd there. I'm surprised it wasn't picking up on Discord from the Discord app.
Nope. Because it's a different one. It's not picking you up in Discord. It's only picking me up from Discord.
Oh, well, but my thing is flashing though. That's what's weird. Okay, now he said he can hear us.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Let's kind of start all over again. Hey guys, my name is Volt Chaos, aka Trent Rascal, aka Spork. I am a Christian VTuber, and I'm also primarily though I do focus more on the comics and gaming aspect. I am also joined by a fellow uh, he's not into VTubing, but a fellow streamer that I've known since what 2017.
18.
2018. Yep, since 2018. Bob Jones. We have done quite a lot of streams on his channel, Nerd Over 30, and I was originally on my old channel called Sporkman Studios, and this is for those who are coming in to get the lore and stuff like that who don't know. Yeah, hothead. I know. Yeah, it's been a long time. 2018. Here we're looking at yeah, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah. I mean, it feels a lot longer though.
Uh, dude, well, you also got to figure, I mean, what have we had go, like, have happened in the past 6 years? Like, there's the year that time forgot. There's literally the Cheeto presidency, the geriatric presidency, the the we literally have the meme go around every couple, like literally every month, who had this marked
Yeah,
down,
yeah,
because every month something new pops up and everyone's just kind of looking at it like, why not? We were getting bored anyway.
yeah, yeah. It's been a lot, and a lot has changed. In terms of the comic landscape and the gaming landscape. When we were going live for the first time, we're kind of coming to the tail end of Gamergate and the beginning of Comicsgate. I was
With
kind of I was
which
kind of in the beginning, before the Comics Gate stuff. um, I was in
well,
the
I,
moving.
I
Yeah, like, hold on, give me a second here, and I'll let you go on, Bob. I was in with the whole moving the needle and stuff like that back before Comics
mm,
Gate was even a thing, and then of course Bob and I we met through uh, who did we meet through originally?
I think it was Comic Scout who connected us
Yeah,
because I was having
yeah, yeah.
problems.
Yeah, it was Comic Scout, and then we all met on the stream, and then you and I kind of split off together. Because you and I have a lot of similar tastes and stuff, and we're like, well, hey, we kind of should start a channel where we get like all these indie creators come in and kind of give people like how to get into the business, how to start your own comic and stuff like that. So, because I've been creating a comic, since 2015. I originally have the Sporkman comic, and we have 3 issues there, 4 issues, excuse me, there. And so, I had that, and I know Bob, you were more on the artist side, and so you have a lot of that aspect in. So that's why we kind of figured of starting a channel, and you also had streaming experience too, because you already had your channel go up and running, Nerd Over 30, before I even started the Sportman Studios channel. Um,
And
because
don't forget the fact that uh, I tend to be really good at editing videos and
yeah,
picking. My whole like editing videos thing was something I just kind of picked up on accident.
yeah. So and then so we kind of and also Bob and I politically lean. We kind of lean the same way. We're kind of you're more libertarian than I am, though. I'm more of a centrist.
Anarchist, get it
Yeah,
fucking right.
yeah. I'm a centrist. But a lot of we still value a lot of the same things, though. Small government,
I
value
mean,
of
I
freedom.
mean, anarchy is centrist in a manner of speaking.
Well, that's true. Yeah, yeah, because you have some left leaning and some right leaning stuff. So I would definitely say that. But yeah, in terms of entertainment, you and I like we lean very close in a lot of ways. Our same opinions. We do have some
Hmm.
slight differences on. I know you value the comics code. And you feel that like the comics code definitely should have never been removed, whereas I disagree with that. But I see the value in both sides, of the argument and stuff like that. So, um, but let's kind of get talking on. Let's start. We're going to talk comics in general first. Did you get a chance to watch um, uh, uh, Crisis on
But
Infinite Earth Part Two?
mm, I watched most of it. I got to the end and I was like bored now.
Yeah, like I felt the second one. Well, because I felt that I definitely felt the second one wasn't as good as the first part as the first one. But I think the big thing is with the second one, they're focusing more on Supergirl's whole thing as Harbinger, and of course, the Psycho Pirate. Him as the villain for eventually, as the Anti Monitor. But they definitely took a lot of liberties on that the movie. So it is definitely not
Mm,
like the comics. There's a lot of differences. In that. I mean, I still thought it was good, but it wasn't as good as the first one. I thought the first one was great. You know, the
well,
Go ahead.
my whole thing is I felt like the whole Kara being the target of the dude, I can't remember his name, that can manipulate emotions.
Psycho Pirate.
I I yeah, I feel like she would have been really attuned to what he was doing just because of who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just kind of feel like the whole thing was just
Yeah, and they
dumb.
were they were they were also
Uh,
pushing. The other thing I didn't particularly care for it was I felt they were pushing the girl boss car a little too much. Like car was the reason this, car was the reason for this, and because there was actually two different versions of Kara. There was the Kara that died in the one universe, and she came out, and then there was the Harbinger Kara, who wasn't the same as the car who was on the ship. So it's like they kind of had that the multiverse. You know what I mean? And I felt it was like Kara was the savior of the universe instead of having it like you know the way it was in the comic, in my opinion.
mm,
So, but it was like I said, it wasn't bad. There was a lot of good stuff. I did enjoy. Um, I felt that they like the did you see the part where Batman starts beating the crap out of all the other Bat family? And I'm like, oh, that is so Batman. He would like because that version of Batman, didn't have the Bat family. So it's like that is so Batman. He just would not trust them at all because he didn't grow up with them.
but he
Or
didn't grow with them. Not
yeah,
grow up with
yeah.
them, grow with them.
Yeah. I'm sorry, misspoke there. But he didn't grow with them, and it's like, yeah, it's like, dude, seriously. So, but yet, um, the other thing I didn't really like, I did like what the Wonder Woman segment they did. I felt that was kind of good, where she still had like, even though she went to the Amazonian, she's still like, hey, you need to bend and to help, and Hippolyta was like, no, 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 no. You know what I mean? So just like really sticking into that where Diana sees that the men have some value and worth, yet the mother was like, no. So, I thought that was pretty good. Um, so what are you reading any comics right now, Bob?
Um, honestly, dude, I've just been really eyeballing getting the Nightfall complete set that my buddy has in his shop and rereading that.
Okay, nice. Nightfall's a good series. They just actually did the. They just released a hardback version of the Court of Owls. Um,
Hmm.
they did a, I think it's 29.99. They did the Court of Owls. Um, they also DC's been kind of going into this route where they're kind of going more into the not just the hardbacks, but they're also going more into the manga size uh series too. You know, releasing like the whole series in and stuff like that. So Hothead says he has the first three volumes of Nightfall, but they're collecting dust.
Nice.
Yet Nightfall was a really good series, and I thought that that's where they were going to go with at the end of you know Arkham Knight, because I really would have liked to
Right?
see. I would have really have liked to seen that world's version of Nightfall, and that's really what I thought Gotham Knights was going to be. Like I thought Gotham Knights was going to be Nightfall, but it
Yeah, well,
had no connection to the Arkham universe at all, and it had no connection
be-
to the series.
because let's be honest, this freaking uh, I guess you could say current generation of people running the various franchises that they have are all dastardly retarded.
Well, and they haven't read stuff like it's now coming out. Like they're not reading anything. You know it's like they're looking at this top level surface stuff, and they think they understand these universes, and it's like you intrinsically know you don't, and we see it with some of the stuff that like the you know acolytes just dropped, and the actual like showrunner said, oh yeah, you know, I know this about the Sith, but I never watched the original Star Wars. And like an actor in it said the same thing. It's like, how do you know Star Wars if you haven't watched the original Star Wars or you haven't read anything? It's like seriously, you know. And you saw George R. Martin coming
Because
out.
they don't.
Go ahead.
They don't. They're just saying they do. All that's going on.
So Hothead said he's going to try to pick up the Micronauts later this year. Yet, you know, are you talking about the Hasbro run that they did with IDW? Hothead. So I was just at the I was at the comic book shop the other night. I picked up. So my only DC comic I'm still getting right now is Super Power Girl. But I got Strangers in Paradise Volume 4, the softback. I got I've been getting the Vampirella, of course. That's the one series I've been still getting. Another one. I got a couple things for my niece. So you
Strangers
know,
in Paradise, isn't that the indie comics from like the 80s, 90s?
which one?
Strangers in Paradise?
Yeah, that was yeah Terry Moore's work done that back in the 80s and 90s. Yep.
That's what I thought.
Yep. And speaking of Terry Moore, I actually just finished rereading Echo um here the other night. Actually went 2 nights and just read all 30 issues. So I want to I got because I want to get on once I get moved and everything. I'm going to be doing a review on Echo. Basically, I'm going to be doing a review of all of Terry Moore's, you know, series, you know, to date and stuff like that. And you know, and
So,
get reviews out for those. Because you know me, I'm a big the original Mike Marvel Omni. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. They actually speaking of re-release, they're doing Anagram Universe or the Algam, and they're also doing Marvel versus DC in two hardback trades. That's going to be 150
hey,
bucks. $150 a pop on those, but it's a limited print run. So I'm like, oh man, I was like, when I heard it was a limited pop print run, I'm like, okay, I've got to grab them. So
because they know they have to. That's the only way they're going to get any money out of them.
yeah, yeah. Um, let's see here. I want to go into the I want to get pop into the comic book shop here. Um, so I also got let's see here. New invoice. I like my comic book shop now has a website that I can go to. Yeah, $150. Um, it is kind of rough. Um,
Real rough, like rough McGruff kind of rough.
yeah, it's like it is. It is definitely a little rough. But I mean, it is a hardback. And it's 11 by 17. Oh, so I also got they did. Um, I got the Batman White Knight hardcover, the Generation Joker. Um, of course, my Power Girls, issue 7, 8, and 9. Um, I got the Sweet Candy Vigilante Volume 2. Um, that series, and then of course Vampirella, and then Vampirella 667. I got two covers there because they've been doing a really good job with those covers. So I've been getting, and that's a Christopher Priest run. He's back on Vampirella, which is good. And then I also got Red Hood Outlaws graphic novel that they did through
Nice.
Webtoons, where they actually have Bizarro on the Outlaws team.
Mm-mm.
So
Mm-mm.
so they did Red. Give me a second. Red
To be fair,
Hood Outlaw.
Bizarro, when he's written right, has a good heart, just fucks everything up.
Yeah, it depends. So yeah, hothead. It depends. Like I'm just very. I try to be very selective on my stuff. Yeah, so it does tie into the Dark Trinity Trail series, but it's Red Hood, Artemis, and Bizarro are all on a team together. Which yeah, if you have so like if that's the thing is with Bizarro, depending on who's writing him, like he could turn out to be like he can be a fairly decent character. I just think for the most part I
Don't know how to write them?
they don't know how to write him. Like to me, I understand that he's opposite of. I mean, in all honesty, because that's the type of character he is. Everything should be messed up because it is.
It's it. I think at heart, Bizarro is a character that if you write him right, he is being written where he has a good heart. He just messes everything up because he's opposite man.
Yeah. Like kind of how like we were doing with Sporkman, where things would happen with Sporkman, like he would do something, like he's trying to like bring down something with his thing, but his cape gets sucked in, and the cape
Mhm.
is what takes down the machine versus the spear that he threw, or or his gauntlet or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like he's got his heart in the right place, but it's just mistakes. But the thing is with comics, it's like I just been very restrictive of what I'm buying, just because and I am going back to the older series. I am staying within uh like I get like the single series, like for instance like Superman Lost. So like I like stories like that. 10 issues, boom. It's not linked into the main universe. Or I'll get the Black Label stuff because it's not tied into the Dumpster Fire main universe.
Yeah. But Black Label will never remove the taste of or
Yeah, the
stank or whatever
bat
you want to say of Batwing.
Batwang. Yeah. Yeah, so that is definitely the downside about that. Batwing is thing, but yeah, even indie comics are getting horrible too now. That there is just this ongoing infighting is is crazy because you have the good creators. I was just looking at some more drama. I try not to reply to drama, but it comes across my feed. You know, um,
I'm almost like a certain creator that everyone said that left the mainstream and went to and came to the indies. That as soon as he arrived, the indies scene became extremely balkanized. Almost like he was sent to balkanize the indie scene.
there is there is definitely some merit on that. I'm
Because
I'm
every time there's drama going on, he's always
the center of
the
it.
one at the center.
Yep, yep, 100%. Um, like like I was on I wasn't on a guest star, but I've been watching Kershay, who is a VTuber, fantastic VTuber by the way. If you guys haven't got a chance to watch her, she's been letting people, she's been informing people about DEI and bridge and stuff like that. She's been a big person sounding the alarm and stuff like that in video games. But she's been in the VTubing community since 2018, and so I started watching her about a month ago, and she was she had a stream where she had gone on Geeks and Gamers and talking about the whole thing. But then she was doing an article on C2E2 and with the stuff that John Malin and Shane Davis were doing. They were trying to go there, and they were getting in, and they were able to get a panel, but like they were going to originally try to throw them out, but they actually won and were able to stay there. And they basically came back and said, "Hey, no, yeah, you guys aren't breaking any rules. We can't throw you out," even though there were people that wanted to throw them out there.
Hmm?
And of course, then there was some kind of back and forth, with EVS and stuff like that, and the whole thing. It's like Malin. It's like I really wish Malin and Davis would unhitch from these guys that have been in the industry for a while, would unhitch themselves from CG and just do their own stuff. Because Shane Davis has done
Because,
some.
well,
Go
then
ahead.
that's my point. You know that they have this big issue where they're always the drama queens because they're the ones from the big freaking. You know what I mean? They're the ones that did work for Marvel. They did work for DC and this,
Yeah,
that, and the other. And it's like,
yeah.
bro, that that's kind of starting to be an issue because none of us cared
Yeah, not
until
anymore.
you made it.
Go ahead.
Like I'm saying, none of us cared until you started making a big issue and talking about it.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So anyhow, by the way, I caught up with Nerdy Texan Accountant. He was there on this one stream when I was, and I messaged him and was DMing him a little bit and stuff like that. So he's doing pretty good. Just been busy. So which is cool. Nerdy Texan Accountant used to watch us a lot. But
Hmm.
then when I went through the whole thing of not doing a lot of streaming, he kind of fell off and got into watching the VTubers, which is cool. So I'm gonna want to give a shout out to Nerdy Kessling Accountant, one of the other long time OG fans. So,
Hmm.
um, but so anyhow, so she was she was talking about this stuff. So I messaged her. I said, hey, Kershay. I said, I don't know if you heard of me, and I told her who I was. I said, I was one of the OGs before EVS and those guys came in and stuff like that, and she's like, oh, really? I said, yeah. In the message you're replying back to her, and I basically said, I said, yeah. I said, she's like, yeah, I heard about the war council thing. And I guess some people are saying, I said, yeah. I said, yeah, I'm a victim of war campaign. They forced me out of CG because of their
It
bullshit.
was a sellout.
What's that?
Like they forced us all out.
Yeah.
Like
So she hadn't heard about she had heard about some of the stuff that going on. She's like, but I didn't know anybody. And I told her, I said, yeah, this is I said I was telling her about, like, I was just messaging her about some of the people, and she was of course reading that off stream, and she was responding. She's like, yeah, I hadn't heard about this stuff. I said, yeah, I said, if you have anything you need to know about CG, message me. I said I will be willing to answer.
right.
Because I said that is my wheelhouse. Because so she's really good friends with not really good friends, but she's gone on Geeks and Gamers a couple times and stuff like that. So, but I at least wanted to
Don't
let her.
care.
But I at least wanted to let her know. I said, hey, I said, and there were some people in there saying, well, that wasn't true. I'm like, no, yes, it was. And when I told them my name, everybody was like, oh yeah, I remember and they were like, oh, we remember you and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, I'm still here. It's just I just got forced out of CG because we did not want to deal with the bullshit. We didn't want to bend the knee. So
Yeah, and that was the biggest thing. It's like, dude, you're not gonna get one. I'm gonna be real with you. This is me. When have you really known me to like? All right, you asked me how many times I stopped swearing, and I don't even mean to swear half the time because they that it doesn't register that I'm actually using swear words
mhm,
99.999% of the time until after I said it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And but so you think me, the guy who pushes back, guy who has absolutely positively cannot be bothered to bend the knee and do what other people want me to. You think I'm actually going to do it?
exactly. Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, I would be more inclined to have that happen to me because of the nature of who I am. I'm more non-confrontational about that stuff. You know, but at the same point, like, so it's the narratives that drive me crazy that these people still hang on to, that there are there good people still in CG? Yes, but they're very few and far between. And I'm talking about not the people. I'm talking about the creators. Just so people understand this, I'm not talking about the fans. The fans have been great because most people, who are not creators, they are supportive of indie creators. It doesn't matter who the indie creator is; they're very supportive of it.
Well,
You have your diehard
oh,
EVS fans and stuff like that, but give me a second here, and then I'll let you do your thought here. You know, but then you have people who still remain good, but then you have a lot of these creators who just really came in and they made it toxic all across the board. And they thought they were going to make this money, and I kept telling people, I'm like, no, you're not going to make EVS money. You're not going to make Zach's money. I said, you're going to make my money. Two, three, $4,000 campaigns, and they just kept saying no, 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 no. We're having, yeah. You had some people with, like, if you, and the thing is, I'm sure Sporkman probably could have done a hell of a lot better if I would have bent the knee to EVS,
we all
but
know what have.
I wasn't willing to do that because of my integrity.
I'm going to be honest. For a brief moment, I was, but then the whole bit with the frickin' we found out about the Jim Healis thing. Like, for a brief moment, I'll admit I was willing to bend the knee just because I was so willing for all of us to finally have a fucking win instead of sitting here constantly fighting these dicks who just make everything more frustrating than it needs to be.
Yep. Yeah, 100%.
And, and I was, I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, that was also before I had finally gotten employment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I get you. Sorry about that. I had to grab a water.
Oh, you're fine.
Gonna have some of my gamer subs. But yeah, and that's the thing is, so as a creator, that's the thing is, and I was saying in the chat, I'm like, be independent. Don't go to a company. Don't sign up for as much as you can. It's one thing like if I would have gotten a chance to work with, say, Antarctic Press, okay, that would have been great. But the thing with Antarctic Press is my comic is not beholden to them. I could still do whatever I wanted with Antarctic Press. And I was about to
Yeah.
pull the trigger with Antarctic Press. Like Ben Dunn really wanted Sporkman for Antarctic Press, but then we had that whole
I bet it did. But I know, but that's been personal. Like that's
yeah.
between you and Eric.
So,
That's no point putting it out there.
but the thing is like I still would have had even though he was going to publish it, it's kind of like we were doing a limit. He had no ownership of Sporkman whatsoever. I would have Eric and I
Compared
still
to a
would
lot of the other characters.
yeah Eric and I would have had creative control on everything. Um, it was we still could do our own digital run. We could still do our print run. It was a way for us to get into the stores.
And that would have been the best thing.
Yeah, one hundred
Like
percent.
that right there. That would have actually, that could have probably been the path to success had y'all been able to go down that route.
100% because they were still at that time they were doing so Ben was when I was talking with Ben and unfortunately the nice thing is I didn't sign any NDAs with Ben or anything like that because we were still in the talking stages with he was going to he was doing his run of the manga anthology so he's like oh man he's like I really want to do your Sportman Goes to Japan. He says I think that would do really good. I was like, he's like, I want to do it in the manga anthology. I said, well, if we get doing the manga anthology, could we do a print run down the road of doing a trade or something like that with Antarctic Press? And he's like, yeah. He's like, we'd be willing to do that. I'm like, yeah. And then, I messaged him because I'm like, when I was talking to him over that summer when we failed the campaign, because he's like, well, let me know what happens after the campaign. So we ran the campaign and we failed, of course, the first one. And him and I were talking during that time frame towards the end of summer, right before we ran the second campaign in October. And we're saying to him, we're like, I was saying to him about like what the plans were for Sporkman going forward, and he was really on board and he was like I was telling him the ideas that we were going to have. He was on board. He wanted to do Natsumi too eventually and stuff like that, because I was showing him some of that stuff and he was really excited for the whole Sporkman universe because to me that would have been a perfect fit for the Antarctic universe because you had Fred Perry's stuff coming to an end. Well, here now you have this uh in kind of the
Wow,
same.
I didn't know Fred Perry brought his stuff to an end.
Yeah, his Gold Digger series was coming to an end. Issue 300 was like his last issue.
See
Um,
that, but to be fair, he's being smart. He has never let anyone take control of his characters, and that's why Gold Digger's always stayed
true to
Gold
true.
Digger.
Yeah, that's why it stayed true to his vision. Longest running indie comic series ever. As an indie
And a
comic,
whole lot of and a
no,
whole lot of fan service.
yes, yes, 300 issues. Man, if I could get to that, straight up, see, and think about it. I think the first issue of Gold Digger was probably like 89, 88, 89, possibly. Um, Give me a second here. When what? When was the first issue of Gold Diggers published? 1991.
And let's be honest, it was a funny book that I personally think a lot of people who missed it will appreciate when they actually do finally come across it.
I'm sorry,
Like it was just
301. 301
uh,
issues, 17 annuals, 12 Christmas specials, 4 holiday specials, 14 Halloween specials, 26 swimsuit specials, 2 swimsuit annuals, 4 People Tales, 1 Wimbledon Dig. So this is 22 official handbooks, 3 books of magic. So like so it wasn't just 301 issues, it was all the other stuff too. I mean,
uh
I mean seriously, the dude, you know, the dude really. I mean, props out to Fred Perry, man. You know, and the thing is, what's great is like there was so much reference to not just like uh anime. There was like just pop culture all in total. You know what I mean? Manga and
yes.
memes, and you had um you had a lot of military stuff in it, along with other like time travel and so like
Well, if I remember right, he was a Desert Storm veteran.
hmm yeah,
So I mean,
and African American too.
mhm.
So people talk about, oh, where are our black creators? There you go, Gold Digger, Antarctic Press. Yes, I'm gonna shill for Antarctic Press because the Antarctic Press has got some great stuff out of there.
Right.
Of course, we're gonna give props out to our friend Brian Ball. He's got 10 issues of
Rags.
Rags. We're gonna give a shout out also to Punchline, 15 issues. Of course, we're just gonna talk about iconic comics. You want to talk about
Just in general.
you want to talk about indie creators creating stuff and not being beholden to anybody but themselves. Iconic comics.
Yep. Not gonna argue that.
Straight up. I mean, to me, like Common America and the Black Ops series, and I know you're not big on the horror side, so you're not really big into Soul Finder, but um,
Uh,
but for me, like just the Black Ops and the Common America series really hits like a big thing for me because with Common America, we're getting a lot of the anime tropes and references and stuff like that. Whereas the Black Ops, we're getting military, we're getting Black Ops, we're getting cryptids, and you know what I mean. So we're getting all this good stuff, and
uh,
I love that these guys are doing this stuff and they're not beholden. So I was saying in the stream, I'm like, yeah. I said this to all, and I said, if you're a content creator, be your own content creator. Do not sign with a publisher. Like, do not give your property to a publisher. If you're a VTuber,
nope.
don't sign with a big studio.
Nope.
Get your own stuff, incorporate your own stuff, do your own thing. Yeah, get yourself a man. Maybe you get yourself a manager. That's fine. Get yourself a publicist. That's fine. Get yourself and you're paying that person as an employee or a 1099 representative, but that way you still have creative control on everything.
Well,
And
let's take for instance Rooster Teeth. Okay,
yeah,
that is a prime example of what happens when you one sign on with a big studio while at the same time two stepping away from your core frickin'
audience
I guess you could say yeah. I was also gonna say core storytelling mission.
or that too. Yeah.
Like they became so interested in doing so many things where it's like what made red versus blue work was actually the fact that you frickin' uh I'm gonna be honest, you could just link some computers together and record the screen and boom, you have your story or your footage, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
You just need to write it into the voiceover, which you did while, you know what I mean? If you
Well,
did it right anyway.
and you can even go one step further if you go to if you go to their next series of Ruby. It was the same thing. They were creating stuff that was their own their own stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but they still went into proper animation, and it was one of those doing, even if it's 3D animation,
Hmm.
it is pricey. Let's be honest. Like, and on top of that, you have the fact you have to pay, like, they, instead of having their same core group of voice actors that they had do everything, they started recruiting more voice actors to do things, and it stopped feeling less like a group of friends goofing off and doing something funny and more like a actual business venture of people literally, you know what I mean, trying to turn it into a regular studio that does what everyone else does. Does that
Right.
make sense?
No, no, it does. 100%. 100%.
Like, if you want to be successful in a lot of these frickin' endeavors, you kind of don't forget what made you successful.
Right. 100%. And
They,
and sadly, that is what tends to happen when you sell out. You get to these bigger, you get to these bigger things. You start dealing with, and I think corporations can be good and bad, but the problem is when you get to a corporation that's big size, unfortunately, you start bending the knee, and unfortunately, that's what happened to Rooster Teeth.
yeah,
They got bought by Crunchyroll, and of course then they got bought. Eventually, Crunchyroll got, after all its different things, is now owned by Sony, and yeah, unfortunately now.
as actually, if I remember right, Rooster Teeth actually got bought by Warner Brothers, and uh,
Yes.
they basically they've never been able to really turn a profit the way Warner Brothers wanted them to, which is part of the big thing. Like Warner Brothers is constantly trying to get them to turn a massive profit like they expect all their studios to, and it's like eh, it's not the same type of audience and the same type of marketing style that you are going to be using. You can't expect the studio to come in and make buku bucks doing that like what they did without them having the freedom to be goofy the way they need to be and to do things that the corporate bigwigs at WB will let allow them to do.
Right.
And like the other part is, let's be honest, the other big issue is Microsoft got involved with Red versus Blue. Now, while Red versus Blue still was really good, I'm going to be real with you though. You could tell the moment Microsoft got involved because then it went from less them being just goofy and random to them trying to sell an honest story, them doing this, them doing that, all of which really took away from what gave Red versus Blue its charm.
Right.
Like the big money really will destroy any project or company because they have different goals compared to everyone else.
Agreed. I agree.
Uh,
I mean, and we're kind of seeing that play out right now, even with Microsoft and them and what they've done with their studios and stuff like that. You know, with them dumping. I mean, let's kind of segue into gaming. Look what's happened to several Japanese studios under two major publishers, both Sony and under Microsoft. Japan studio who released a lot of great indie games. They got clobbered and destroyed by Sony. You have
sounds about
Microsoft.
right.
Yeah, Microsoft, who ended up doing triggering this Japanese, and I forget the name of the Japanese studio. Unfortunately, I forget. If you remember, Bob, but Hi-Fi Rush, you know,
hmm
which from almost everybody I talked to. Now, I don't know if you've ever played it or not. I haven't because I'm not really big into rhythm games. But everybody that I talked to that enjoys that game and have played it, love it, loves the game. Like they felt it was very unique, very different, and it did very well for the company. Oh, Game Works, I think it is. Um, did very well in terms of sales. But what hurt it was placed into the Microsoft into Game Pass.
Well, excuse me. That and uh, like for instance, the only reason why I never got it was because of the fact that uh, I just never got around to it. Like when I get a game, it's generally like on sale,
Hmm.
and kind of a good thing that I didn't get it because it ended up being on Humble Bundle.
Yeah, and I that's actually how I got it too was through the Humble Bundle sale. But I still
Mm.
bought it though. Even though I got it through the Humble Bundle sale, I still bought it. So giving that so instead of going through Game Pass, while I didn't pay full price for it, I got it through Humble Bundle. I still gave a good amount. I think I usually with the Humble Bundle, I think because it was game of the month, I usually will turn around like if there's a bundle I buy separately from that, I actually will um I actually will chip more in. So like if let's say like there's a bundle that I want from that store, instead of like the base price like $30 for that one bundle, I'll do like 45. That way I'm kicking a little bit more money back to Humble Bundle for some of their other games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nope. I get it.
Did you get a chance to watch any of the gaming things like last week? Did you watch the state of play? I know we didn't get a chance to talk last week because of I had a personal issue I had to deal with Friday night, so I had to cancel the stream. Did you get a chance to did you watch the state of play at all? I know you're not a big Sony person,
Nope.
but okay. Uh,
Nope.
I will say this: there's only a few games that I was enjoyed to see. I don't care about God of War Ragnarok because I have it on PlayStation 5. But they announced Until Dawn remaster. And I know you're not a horror person, but as a fan of the actual Until Dawn game, I kind of like that they're releasing that. Of course, Silent Hill 2. I'm kind of excited for as being a fan of the original Silent Hill 2, but what I wasn't surprised of was Astrobot. Looks like back to the old school platforming games that we played on the PS2 and PS3.
Back when you were allowed to have fun playing video games.
Yes, yes. That's what it seems to be. Everybody I'm listening to from Spawn Wave and everybody like Astrobot seems to be the kind of going back to the homaging to the original like platformers. Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, Uncharted. You know what I mean? Like these great games that were, now granted they're all roboted versions of everything, but still kind of homaging the entire history of PlayStation. And it's like
Yeah,
now a game like that, rumor has it is $60, which I I don't know if that's going to be a good sell at $60 because being that there hasn't been anything else for really unless you got a PlayStation 5 and a VR. I don't have Astro's Playroom, but most people don't know Astro. So you're taking a chance on a property like that to me should be $50.
40, like
Uh
you're talking.
yeah, I mean
I think you
80
can do a
it
solid game.
I don't know. 40 might be a little too low just because it's 80 levels. So it is with 80 levels. You're looking probably 15 to 20 hours. I mean, maybe $40 could. I think $40 would be underselling it. 50 it might be right, but I think that either which way that it is. I think it's going to be it's going to be a good it can be a good sale either which way.
Not gonna do.
So the other thing though too that was announced this week is they just announced on Palworld we are getting a new island, and
No.
we are getting new pals and subspecies. So I want to see if I can play this video capture. Give me a second here. I'm hoping. I'm hoping that this will.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I might be calling it here like real soon.
Okay, yeah, we can wrap up here. But I just wanted to show this. That we can wrap up here. But I figured this might be a good way to exit out of the thing. So let's see here, and all right, and this
No
was.
worries. I'm looking at that. I got work in the morning, and I'm slowly, or I should say, very quickly fading.
Oh, that's okay.
Eh,
So, all right, let's
I'm
play this.
normally in bed by now. What can I say?
Yeah, I know. Let me play the trailer. All right, hold on. So, what I'm doing here is I actually turned the I turned the audio off so I don't get copyrighted striked.
You're still going to get strike
I
just
might,
because.
yeah, I might, but it's better to show the video. I mean, freaking, I still got busted on the freaking Johnny Cage, uh, um, video we watched. Remember when they launched the WB did the Johnny Cage movie, the animated one, and they hit me on a copyright strike. I tried challenging it, and they still hit me with it.
Lame.
Yeah, lame. So it looks pretty cool. I mean, you're now we're getting a new island. We're getting like an oil rig to plunder. We can build like new build new buildings, level caps, and stuff like that. Being raised and stuff like that. And there's a new looks like there's a new boss and stuff like that. So it looks pretty good. And I guess it's coming out the end of this month.
Nice.
So no waiting for months and months and months on end for a thing. So